All right, here to have a COVID conversation, we got Dr. Anand Swaminathan. He is emergency medicine physician. Dr. Nathan, excuse me, Dr. A, it is a pleasure to have you. Welcome to BNC Live, sir. So what do we know so far about the Omicron strain?
Unfortunately, we know less than we'd all like to know. We are really not good with uncertainty, and we're still in a place of uncertainty with Omicron. The three big questions have been, is it more transmissible? Is it more severe than Delta? And will our vaccines continue to work? We have some answers, but we still need a little bit more time. So as far as transmissible, it does seem that Omicron is more transmissible than Delta. And that's a worrisome feature of this virus. As far as severity, early data tells us that it doesn't seem to cause as severe disease, but that is very early data, and we really need to collect more information before we jump to that conclusion. And then finally, about vaccine evasion, we don't have that data at this point. The best that we have tells us that our vaccines are going to hold up in terms of severe disease, in terms of hospitalization. And if we get boosted and we boost those antibodies up, that can overwhelm any kind of vaccine evasiveness that the Omicron variant may have. Now, what we do know is that prior infection really confers very weak immune response to Omicron. So those people who think, well, I had it before, so I'm going to be fine, that's not enough. You have to get vaccinated.
All right, so are you saying that every eligible American, if they are not already fully vaccinated, should get a booster?
It's the most important thing that we can do right now is to get fully vaccinated. If you are fully vaccinated, get a booster, because by boosting up those antibodies, we can overwhelm any vaccine evasiveness, or at least hopefully overwhelm the vaccine evasiveness that's there. I think some people are holding out. Hoping that there's going to be this Omicron specific booster that, if it emerges, isn't going to emerge for months. And remember that just a couple months ago, we were talking about Delta specific boosters. And before that, it was Alpha specific boosters. Those never really materialized because they weren't found to be really necessary. So get your primary vaccine series, get boosted. And of course, every child above the age of 5 is also eligible. Get your kids vaccinated as well.
Yeah. Dr. A, I want to ask you about this because you mentioned that Omicron is considered to be more contagious than Delta. We know that Delta now is dominating the majority of cases here in this country, the U.S. seeing more than 120,000 COVID cases a day. Do you expect the Omicron variant to dominate cases as we move into the winter months?
We don't know that yet. I think that Delta is going to be the predominant variant of concern in the US for the foreseeable future, but Omicron may emerge. It may supplant Delta, or we might get dueling variants. We might get Omicron and Delta both persisting at a very high level. We just don't have enough information. Remember that each day we're learning about new cases of Omicron. Another state gets added to the roster of those where Omicron cases are described. We just don't have enough data to see if Omicron is going to supplant Delta or not. And so I think really what we should be focused on still is evading Delta or getting past Delta. And fortunately, the same things that work for Delta work for Omicron. Vaccinate, boost, mask. I am masking in any public space, and I am both vaccinated and boosted. And then we need to be testing aggressively. We know that in the US, we're not doing nearly good enough job with testing, both with our PCR tests, but more importantly, with at-home tests. I have family in the UK. They go to the store, they pick up 14 tests for free. They could do it every day if they wanted to. So they can test anytime they have symptoms. They can test anytime they're going to gather in a setting. We don't have that ability in the US, but we should. We should be getting little gift packages from the US government with a bunch of tests in them and a bunch of N95 masks. Every home should be stocked with these.
All right. So what do you think the U.S. is doing that they should be doing more of, considering you have family in the U.K.? What's the U.K. doing good?
Well, I think that one of the things that they're doing really well is making sure that tests are available for people. So, give you an example, I had just a week ago, my daughter woke up with a stuffy nose, a little bit of a sore throat. She is fully vaccinated, but we did a test. We did a test to make sure she wasn't going to go out and get somebody else sick, because we have that ability to have that rapid test at home and do it. But not everybody can afford those tests. 2 tests for $20, that's way too much for most of the country to afford. So we have to make these not affordable, but free. You can pick them up anywhere. You can pick up a packet test, have them at home, and test aggressively. So that's one thing that we can do better. The other thing the US really needs to focus on is more and more funding for global vaccination, global equity of vaccination. Until we ramp that up appropriately, until we really supply vaccines to everyone and we support production of vaccines in every country, we're never going to get past this because a new variant is going to continue to emerge and it's going to continue to threaten us.
All right, Dr. A, thank you so much for joining us, sir. It was a pleasure having you. And